Ah! I'm doing Discord at the same time. Alright, that
Alright,
means...
here we go.
Here we go.
Alright, so, oh wow, it looks like it is just going to be mono green. That Rune Shrine is going to be very powerful against this mono red deck that Callum has,
Mmm.
though.
This is gonna be so interesting. I'm plugging our stream everywhere now. Mazine, who is undefeated so far, can be seen here. Alright, there we go, man. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, he
Ooh,
redrew into two.
this is such a slow hand here from
I
Mazine.
feel bad for Mazine, but hey, he's undefeated! We'll
He's
see.
undefeated. He can power through a bad hand or two.
Just go face slowly. Oh, Freedom Fighter.
Well, that'll definitely help speed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he considered playing the prairies here, but he realized with these two Therian Golems in hand, he just can't afford to not play a forest right away.
I mean, just think about it. Just go straight for face. Turim Golem. I mean, okay, he can't go really straight for face because obviously Callum just kind of stopped him a little bit there because he might even realize that that's what he's doing. I mean, Callum is playing this deck that is like its weakness is if anybody does that. So he's got to obviously defend against that, and I think he did really well here. Callum actually getting Derelict Tower down all the way back and the Shedding Brute in front to slow down whatever Messine is thinking about.
He did, but this Freedom Fighter plus Tiki Caretaker will be able to take out that Brute and get in a pretty deep
Brute.
Freedom Fighter.
Oh yeah, he can do that too. I was thinking at least take out the Derelict Tower.
I think the Brute is probably the way to go here. I could be wrong, obviously, but if he leaves the Brute around, then it'll go in and attack the Tiki and deal some extra damage. So he probably doesn't want that.
I also want to say thank you to whoever. I don't want to drop the name, but my phone buzzed and I got a $3 donation. Thank you. Glad you're appreciating it. Sorry we don't have notification, but I mean I got notified on my phone, so thank you. I didn't know that I had that on my phone. I was just like, why is my phone buzzing?
And he's actually going to use the tower. Okay, so he's going to use the tower to just deal a little bit of extra damage to the Cypher's Wrath. We'll be able to finish off the Freedom Fighter. Good play from Callum. He doesn't really need to worry about dealing the 1 damage to the Tiki right away. He has a little bit of time before he needs to do that. And it'll probably come down next turn by the look of it. I don't think Mazine's really going to have any play this turn.
The thing is, I'm not sure. Like, there's so many choices, but he's already down to 16, right? And the Derelict Tower is still there, which can do either. It's so powerful that when it can remove like a Tiki, like anything that is a 1 health, and it can also chip away at your opponent, which is super important in the long run with a deck, which is all about that ping damage, that indirect damage, right? And he's already down to 16, and it's gonna be big, and it's almost like Callum is rushing in a way here. Like he's being very aggressive. It looks like to me. Quite
Well,
interesting.
one nice thing against these green decks is that if you're aggressive, they can't be.
Green relies on Faeria, so
right.
Yeah.
But this green deck really just doesn't have any mobility whatsoever. So the fact that Callum is coming in here, it's buying him more time effectively to really be able to draw the burn that he needs to take out Mazine.
Oh, somebody exclamation mark bracket, hoping there would be a command. I'll I'll be the manual bracket dealer. There we go. Boom.
It looks like Admes is making an announcement about the intentional drawing, reminding people that it is the sort of thing that you're allowed to do. And it looks like Helios of Flame and Kareth did choose to draw here.
Really?
Yes. So that will actually lock anyone with 4 wins right now out of the top 8.
Are you sure? Depending on how the tiebreaker goes?
It doesn't matter about tiebreakers because we're going to have 2 6-0 people and 2 5-1 people. 5-1 meaning
Do you think it will
tie.
be those 2 people? Have they done the math? We'll see after the match. How it affects
Helios of Flame and Kareth are a lock right now. They will be getting into the top 4. And then we have 2 5-0 versus 5-0 matches going on. So that'll be the other 2 players right there. And that's pretty much just the lock.
There's gonna be so much upset people.
Oh yeah.
But here we go. The match. Callum versus Messine. Who is probably unaware of this going on right now.
Yep. They probably have absolutely no idea. But as we mentioned before, Callum is not in a position to take an intentional draw either way. So he's gonna have to play this out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if these 2 were to do the same thing, it wouldn't put them in as good of a position.
Right. It would, looking at it, it would probably shift Callum out of the top 4 if Callum took an intentional draw here, assuming the other 5-0 match is playing out.
All right, we'll see.
Yep. This math gets complicated, sorry, and I'd have a lot of background in statistics, so I'm always very excited when complicated things
Like,
happen.
oh, math.
Exactly. But anyway, back to this match.
Definitely.
Mazine is not in a great position here by the look of it. He's going to have to get something going if he wants to be able to fight this, and that Therian Golem is exactly what he needs, actually. So I'm really not sure how Callum's going to deal with this. I think these 5/10s are exactly the sort of cards that Mazine needs to be drawing. And as we mentioned before, the Rune Shrine will be able to stop any extra damage from things like Cypher's Fodder or Grimguard or Shade and Brute. All of that incidental damage will just be absorbed by the Rune Shrine. Right, here we see another Derelict Tower. It'll take quite a while for that to be able to ping down this 5/10, though.
I was gonna say, do you have a wireless headset? I was like, how did you do that? I was like, didn't see you. That's interesting. Long cable, but yeah, another Derelict Tower, and this is so beautiful. Beautiful. Bomb Slingers down. Cypher's Fodder. All this indirect damage. Well, yeah, Bomb Slinger isn't indirect, but like, it's so. Yeah, I'm happy to see how good this is working. Mazine been strong, apparently. He's been 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, winning every best out of 3 without dropping a single match. Here comes the surprise. Callum. It would be amazing to see Callum pull out the victory in the best out of 3 series here versus Mazine, who... I mean, heck, even Mazine might be like a little bit like, oh, damn, I'm doing so well and play less efficiently. But that Freedom Fighter.
That Freedom Fighter play was interesting here. That's going to allow the Cypher's Fodder to just continue to attack face here. Now it does kind of threaten putting in a very deep land, but if Callum had something just as simple as a Cypher's Wrath or something like that, that would be able to punish this play and take out the Freedom Fighter and prevent that land development. I guess he still has the land on the other side, so it was more to get that 3 damage off the table. But I feel like saving the 4 damage from Cypher's Fodder might have been more valuable.
He's already down to 9, man. Alright.
Oh, wow, and he's actually not going to kill the Freedom Fighter here. It looks like he's going to save up and hope to play the Blazing Salamander instead.
Yeah. Alright, Mazine, what are you thinking? Super mega buff on the Freedom Fighter? I mean, we can only afford...
Ooh, that's a great draw here. Just being able to have the extra life that you can use here is a fantastic resource for Mazine.
Yeah.
Unlike when we saw...
what does he do with the Freedom Fighter? Does he harvest or go face? He goes face. I think that's a good choice.
Absolutely.
And he heals. Alright.
So unlike Sun Tzu last round, who was trying to gain some life against this red deck, I think this is probably going to do what he needs it to do, because he not only has the extra life that he's getting here, but he has complete board control too, something that Sun Tzu did not have when he was trying to gain life. And this Bomb Slinger might actually be a pretty good play here instead of Blazing Salamander. It offers a little bit more damage, but we can see from Mazine's hand that he will have the Freedom Fighter to trade into this if he wants to.
And he draws a Tiki. He has so much buff on hand. And he could actually get harvesting on the right side there if he plays it on one of the forest tiles. He could even put down a better forest tile if he really wants to. But he could actually start harvesting, which is huge for green, as we mentioned before, Faeria. And, yeah.
Now this is a pretty big choice that Callum was making here. He's actually going to be able to play the card on this turn, and that's why you buffed. That's why you see Mazine buffing his creatures. He knows that the only reason that Callum could be saving up that much Faeria would be for a Gargadon. So he's going to save both of his creatures, put them out of Gargadon range, so now Gargadon isn't even an effective play, and Callum effectively just wasted the past couple of turns. It might have been a bit too greedy from Callum to go for that. I think taking out the Therian Golem might have been the better play. Using the Salamander, he would have been able to get in some more damage too. And that's in a really tough spot.
And Mazine might actually be showing here why he's been doing so well.
Wow. And at 12 HP, Mazine is not really in danger of dying either. So Callum is definitely in a very difficult spot.
I'm telling at Luciol, who wants us to explain why Helio and Kareth went for a tie in their match round 6. We'll talk more about that after the game.
Okay, yeah, we'll go into the specifics of Swiss formats and all that in a little while. Assuming that Twitch chat doesn't answer in the meantime.
Well,
okay,
they
so here
basically have. But...
Mason's drawing a Feed the Forest, and he already has the Oakling in hand, so those two cards combined effectively gives a +5/+5 buff to something. And we do see this Freedom Fighter in hand, and that could end the game very quickly if that comes down.
Yep. I still would say that, you know, he's obviously lacking the Faeria here to do what he wants, mazine, but he's already ahead on board, on control, that he's just keep drawing some cards. It's like, well...
Well, at this point, he's kind of playing away from the board clears, the huge Inferno or whatever. This probably looks like a pretty standard red control list to him, with a little bit of the vicious aspect. So he's probably concerned about something like double Firestorm, maybe. So it's better just to draw some cards rather than waste the resources that he has in his hand. Because Callum has done nothing for the past few turns but save up Faeria, basically.
What? He feed the forest?
Step 6. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay. So he moves the Freedom Fighter back to block that well. It looks like he just wanted to get some card draw. But this 8/10 Freedom Fighter is going to be next to impossible to deal with anyway.
Yeah, we might... this is...
Well, really not sure about that Feed the Forest.
10, he has... Wait. He has... that's 4, 8. If he puts it down, he can get it down to 8. He can actually get rid of it. Firebomb, Bomb Slinger, Cyber's Red.
Yes. And that will almost certainly be the play that we're seeing here. He will need to make a mountain in order to do so. That if it's the only play that keeps him alive, then it's obviously going to be the play.
Heck, wait, how much does he have? 14. He could even do...
I'm really confused by that Feed the Forest play, though. I think playing down the Runic Shrine would have been a much better play there.
That's all he has
to do. That still threatens lethal on the following turn.
You know what? He's one fairy away of being able to do actually... like that mountain, obviously, but, you know, putting a Blazing Salamander there to finish off both those. But, you know, he's one fairy away. Like, that's how clutch it is. Like, it is one fairy away, basically, I'm doing that. But here we go. And Cypher's Red.
Is he going to play the Bloodslinger first, though? I think he might have to.
Oh, yeah, he can afford that, too.
Oh,
really,
yeah,
why not?
Does get some extra damage in at some point, so right now might be the best time to do it.
I would so. It's a 2/4, so... I would. What? No? Why not? What did he save?
He's probably thinking ahead for the Blazing Salamander.
Yeah, I was just about, like, I was asking you, but it must be that's the only option, right? Like, he's making sure he has Faeria for next turn to be able to do the Blazing Salamander. Yep.
Or possibly the turn after with that Garadan in hand. So I really do think that the Runic Shrine is probably a better play there. I didn't do all the math entirely, but I believe he would have had lethal here if that was the play instead. Yes, because he'd be able to play the Tiki Caretaker, get in that extra 3 points of damage, and that would have been lethal. I can't see much risk in that either. He would have had to move his creature off of the mountain in order to play it, but there really isn't anything that Callum can do to deal that much damage that quickly.
Alright. Oh, that was my mic. That I just hit, sorry. Alright, so again he's saving up for the Garudan to be an option at least.
And now I feel like it looks less suspicious, but I think Mazine still just has in the back of his mind that he has this Gardon in hand. So we might see the Therian Golem here. That would be too big for just the Gardon to deal with, and that is what's coming down.
And now he's got to start doing the puzzle again, like, okay, I can, and he doesn't have this. Wait, 4, that's down to 6. 2 Blazing Salamanders. He needs another mountain, and he could do it. He can get it away.
If that is an option. Alternatively, they could just play 1 Blazing Salamander and put it between him and the Therian Golem. That plays into Mag Defeat the Forest, but doesn't look like Mazine even has the Faeria for that.
Yeah, Mazine is he's suffering because he doesn't harvest. I mean, suffering a bit. Like, imagine if he just was harvesting from like a well or two. Like, he would be doing so much better, obviously.
So Callum's got some hard decisions to make here. But really it comes down to, do you want to play one Blazing Salamander or two Blazing Salamanders? There isn't really another play here. It looks like he's going to opt for the one Blazing Salamander play. And he has Magda feed the oh, okay, he doesn't have a land to clear off the... He doesn't have a land in place to clear off this Blazing Salamander with the Magda feed the forest.
Well,
So even though he has the Faeria for the combo, it's still not enough.
Here's the thing with facing green is that I've been taught like the what is it, like the rule of thumb is that you don't you try and remove green stuff. You just don't like poke at it because they can always grow it. You don't leave it for them to decide. Hence why I would have done the two Blazing Salamander and traded with the Bomb Slinger.
Yep, and here we might see him get punished by this Ruinous Command, as a matter of fact. Or not. No, it's going to be the Living Willow coming down. Interesting. Okay. So what that does is it kind of attracts both of those creatures in a little bit farther.
See, he should have not left it there. I know it's easy for us to say, but like, you know, you're down to 4, man. You need to remove the threats. And
So we'll see what Callum draws here.
And he's been healing
He does
up.
have enough for the Garudon, though. Which would clear off both of these creatures. Clear off all 3 of these creatures, as a matter of fact. I just can't help but think that Mazine might be throwing this game right now. He's obviously has a lot of green threats that Callum's going to have to deal with, but right now he's doing a pretty good job of it.
It's down to 4. He can clear the board.
Yes.
But he would lose his creatures too.
Mm-hmm. He would still have the Garudon. So it'd be a 6/6 against
true.
nothing.
That's true. He would actually have the Garden. I was kind of like, I mean, yeah.
That also wouldn't be enough to stop the Verduran Force.
Here we go.
Down.
I mean,
So
he's got to clear the board though. Like he's down to 4, like we said. Like this is the only option I think he has, and he does it. Wow. Okay. Famine.
I think Mazine just plays Verduran Force here and forces him to answer it once again. And once again, he chooses a different line of play. Oh, this Grimguard is going to punish this so hard, though.
Yeah.
I guess the Eldritch Embrace helps out a little bit, but this Grimguard is going to lock down this Oakling and kind of prevent it from doing anything, while Garudon probably collects Faeria this turn, and then attacks face the following turn.
Mm-hmm. And again, the indirect damage and stuff, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So once again, I really feel like Mazine just needs to put down the Verduran Force.
Yeah, and at this point, it would just block the Gadoran from hitting face as well.
I think playing the Verduran Force aggressively is the way to go. And
aggressively you would do it. All right, yeah. Well, actually.
Oh, that Grimguard draw.
I mean, I was not even thinking about that. Like, that's such an obvious play now that I see it.
Let's talk about how massive that Grimguard draw was for a second. That's going to stop the Verduran Force from doing anything. And green decks just don't have ways to deal with that. And that's actually going to threaten lethal on the following turn. I mean, it looked like Mazine.
So maybe the Verduran Force should have been played. Just... Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I like this matchup. It's fun.
In this case, the Verduran Force being played defensively would have been better. But it would have been impossible to predict that Grimguard coming down like that, too. I think it really just all goes back to that turn with the Runen Shrine, though. Long time ago, he could have played the Runen Shrine. Oh, and he draws a Runes Command instead. So that is quite obviously a very big draw here. He's still going to need some help, though. This keeps him alive for 1 turn, I believe. Does it? Okay, so he's going to opt into the Runen Shrine instead. That's...
Yeah. Well, he has another Grimguard.
I think the
Salamander?
Is still the play here. Just kind of set up the same board position you did last time. Except your opponent will be at slightly lower health, if I'm calculating it correctly. Or not. I believe if he'd attacked with the Garudon first, then the Grimguard damage would have resolved, and then the 2 damage from Grimguard would have hit Mazine's face. I think it resolves individually like that, but I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, you might be right, but it's that's tough to know.
Yeah, it all comes down to very complex mechanics sometimes.
People are enjoying the plays 10 minutes ago.
Now, conveniently, this gain 5 life is not going to be enough to keep Mazine alive. Currently, the Grimguards represent 4 damage, and then the further 6 from Gardon will end the game. So he does have to draw. He draws in to Feed the Forest.
And he has Nagda. Oh, he doesn't afford it. Oh, he's short of Faeria.
Feed the Forest is enough to keep him alive.
The timers!
Okay, so if he Feed the Forest on his Oakling, then this Grimguard does not have a target to attack to get in that 2 damage. So Callum will have to find that damage somewhere else.
Do you think Callum knows he has 59 seconds left?
I think he does. It gets pretty obvious with the blinking and everything when it gets down under a minute. I think a minute's going to be enough for this game, but it's definitely going to be a little bit close.
It's just funny. I'm just thinking if they don't realize it. Oh, he Feed the Forest.
Yep, so Feed the Forest was
Into a force of 12-12. But
even better, though.
What is?
Okay, so if he plays an offensive threat here, no, if he plays an offensive threat, then he's just dead to the Grimguard again.
He has to heal. He's healing.
He can't play a creature right now because it would give the Grimguard a target to attack.
This is hilarious.
And he played it anyway. He made a mistake here.
What?
Because this still
That's
just
within reach. No.
I'm fairly certain the game would have been over anyway, but that was a very impressive showing there from Callum. Really
And
punishing
Mazine loses the first round, man. Oh,
wow.
Love it.
I think
love it.
Teague has to be getting to Mazine here. We just see a couple minor misplays, and Callum was really able to capitalize on him and push through for the game there. Great match, very long match too. Wow.
This might be the most interesting matchup I've seen combined with yesterday and today. Actually, I'm loving this. This is great.
Oh man.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. We've seen a lot of good matches, but this is quite interesting. Especially Callum being the first person to win a single match against Mazine, right? In a best out of 3
game, a match. Game.
A game. Yeah. I've always have a hard time like which term to use. Okay, game. He wins first 1 game, right? So Mazine is no longer undefeated. And
I think Callum might have passed out here. He needs to hit OK on his game so we can continue to the second game, but I think it's perfectly reasonable that he takes a little bit of a breather here.
He passed out.
Very good game for him.
Oh.
Wow, that was a hell of a first game.
I
really hope that the next.
I'm so happy for Twitch chat Twitch to be.
I'm really looking forward.
10 minutes behind. Yeah. Right, they're already talking or commenting.
But it looks like Callum took his breather here, so we're gonna go ahead and go right into game 2. Do you think players are gonna keep those decks? Because that seemed like an extremely even matchup, and possibly Mazine even might have had an advantage there.
Maybe both are hoping that the opponent swaps, and they're gonna just keep them. Like both might be.
So we just got to the play with the turn where I said that Mazine should have played Ruined Shrine, and Beyond Limitless says, well, that was weird, but he's still probably gonna win.
About who?
About this the
Mazine?
Ruined Shrine turn.
Does he mean that Mazine is still probably gonna win?
Yes, that's what he's implying.
I can't wait for him to be disappointed.
Spoilers? Not really. But...
No, not really. Spoiler in the future.
And Atmaz is saying, wow, close game, and that's 10 minutes ago, so I think they're really in for a treat. Oh, wow. Okay, so here we go. Game 2. Mazine versus Callum.
I think we're peaking in
Callum
viewers
once again
too.
won game 1, barely
Obviously.
by the skin of his teeth.
Mazine sticks
and
to the green.
Like those players are running the same decks back here.
And I think they might have even I'm honestly thinking they're both hoping the opponent does switch, but they are sticking, you know.
And once again, it's possible that these players only really prepared this one deck, possibly with a couple other minor variations. All right, and it looks like Mazine is starting off a bit more aggressively this time, starting off with a double prairie even. Just making sure he gets some deep lands in here. Callum's going to cut that off a little bit with this Explorer, though.
That's the thing. Callum knows. Here's an interesting thing. This is best out of 3 using a tournament type of lobby. How would you feel like, you know, who goes first, who goes second? How big of a deal is that? And how would you think would that be like, you know?
So I had this discussion a little while ago with someone else, and neither them nor I knew if it was an advantage to go first or second. I think it always feels better to go second because you have that explorer. You just feel like you have so much Faeria
According to
early
the
on in the game.
devs, with the statistics and data they got a while after changing to this current system with the Explore card in the way it is, they're really, really close to the win rate being like super tight.
That's kind of what I expected there because, like I said, a lot of players feel like it's better, but I was kind of wondering if it's a confirmation bias more than anything, because it really doesn't seem like I'd win
I can't
one or the
remember
other
the
very often.
percentage, but like there's this like magic number that you want to reach, which has been confirmed by like Hearthstone and Blizzard, because they have so much data to look at because their game is so big, and they're not there. But according to what we at least heard, this was long ago now, but when they changed after a while, it might be so that Faeria is closer to that magic number.
Wow. I would be interested to hear from the devs. If
Well,
devs, if
now
you
after
ever want
many
to share any statistical data with me, I am more than happy to analyze the hell
after
out of
many weeks now, it would be nice to know where they are now. You know, after it's been a while.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're probably looking at that, and that's probably what's going to decide how they go forward. And we haven't heard anyone really talk or complain much about the current system, so I think it's at a good place. But yeah, I'm the wrong person to say.
All right, so we see Mazine considering the double prairie play here, just to make sure that he gets in really deep to Cullen's line. I think that probably is a good play here. And then he's also able to use the Freedom Fighter to take out the 4-2 wild farming Faeria as well. And again, that is indeed the play we're going to see. He really is looking for some kind of massive threat here to be able to drop, but he has some time too. He's still at 18. Callum's really not done much this game.
The thing is, I think mazine is doing much better this game. Just land placement now. He's so much closer, so much faster. I mean, he's double prairie twice, and I think this it's important. And he's kind of, you know what? He's locked the left side out, and he knows that he needs to gather. And I think that's what's his plan is here, is to try and get a gatherer down to collect from those two left wells and turn that into an advantage.
Absolutely. Now, I want to point out a slight misplay that I think Callum made. He played a prairie right next to his god. And I know when people are really pushing in like this with lands coming right at you, it's really tempting to block that off. But by making that land, he makes it so Mazine doesn't have to take the time to. So really all it's doing is making Mazine get to his face faster. But taking that extra land right next to your god doesn't really do that much. You don't usually want to spawn a creature there, you always want to spawn it next to the Faeria well instead.
Yep. You're right. Okay. Defensive Willow?
Sure.
Feed the forest already? Yeah? No? Yeah?
I don't think so. He wants to spend a couple turns to farm with it and see if he draws into an Oakling and that sort of thing, just to better feed the forest target.
Yeah, you know, we just saw the hover effect though. Like he was looking at Feed the Forest. That's why I was like, oh. But at the same time, like, yeah, well, I would have waited. There's no reason to do that now. I think, like you said, getting some farm out of it too is more value. So
I think this might be another slight misplay from Callum, though. I think he should have moved his Blazing Salamander on the land that the forest was just played on. That would have prevented the Therian Golem from being spawned in this deep.
yeah,
so this fatigue must really be getting to both of these players at this point.
Fatigue, pressure, knowing how close they are to the playoffs. Jesus. Well, again, Callum is ahead one game, but you know that can quickly change here if mazine gets this one.
Sorry, I just looked over at the Twitch chat.
Yeah, it's just so funny to see the comments like 10 minutes ago.
We got a wow from Atnas.
It is fun. It is funny.
So anyway, back to the game at hand, though. Looks like he's going to be looking to trade off a couple of these creatures into this Therian Golem. But unfortunately, these buffs in hand are probably going to make it so that doesn't happen. I imagine we're at least going to see the Elderwood Embrace here.
How important is it to go face here?
I don't think there's a reason not to go face. It's not like Red has any.
Well, if he's gonna buff it, then even more so go face, go face, go face. Because he needs to do. Yeah, he needs to just.
I think the play here is to Tiki Caretaker aggressively. Use that buff. Yeah, That'll force him to use the firebomb,
What
but
is he
he'll still have
considering?
Tiki Caretaker up there to farm and to continue to buff that if he
He
wants
drew
to.
an Oakling though. He just chose to draw a card, and
Mhm.
he's thinking Oakling. There?
So it's probably going to be Feed the Forest first. Okay, I like that play
Ah,
better.
okay. Oh,
Oh, and now it's going to be a
oh
6/6.
well. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
That,
Obviously,
that,
that was the right choice. We just didn't know that was gonna be the right choice. Damn. There
so
you go.
very
Feed the
safe play
Forest,
from
showing
here.
people how good of a freaking card combo that is.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to make up for that misplay they made last game, potential misplay anyway. Um, yeah, but this looks like
Mazine is in chat. He's like, I know, guys. Keep calm. They're like, how do you lose a game versus Green? I know, guys. Keep calm.
Yeah, he. So this is interesting. This is kind of why we have the 10-minute delay here because this game went on long enough that if there were cards that were sitting in mazine or Callum's hand,
Oh
they
yeah.
would have been able to come into the stream and seen them if they'd been sitting
Exactly.
there for a while. Kind of like that Rune Shrine was. It was in there pretty much since the start of the game. Um,
1 minute left. Yeah, they're watching. Yeah, well, that's when I said like, oh my god, there's 1 minute left on this timer. It's funny. All right, back to current time.
we have Callum really thinking through this turn here. Just really wants to make sure he doesn't make a misplay. But he's in a tight spot no matter what.
Yo.
He's used about 70 seconds off, or 60 seconds off this turn so far, and it looks like he is just going to trade in for the 8/6 here, probably using the Salamander. Yes, indeed. He doesn't have
He has
any
to save
other.
face somehow, man.
Yep. It looks like he's going to trade in with the 6/5. Oh wow.
What did I say last game? Which Messini is doing this game? He's gathering. Like even if he's so offensive up there, the Tiki placement. Well, that's such a big placement, being offensive and also gathering because it survived a turn. So we got one Faeria there. Willow is gathering down there. There's nothing Callum can do about that Willow.
This is absolutely insane. He's one Faeria off lethal right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the play here is actually. Oh no, it's a little bit too late. Personally, I wouldn't have drawn. I probably would have just played the Magda. Because that sets up lethal for the following turn either way. Even if they can remove Magda, there just isn't that much left to be concerned about. And he's really just buffing the hell out of this Tiki instead. It's going to be pretty hard to deal with. Can he deal with it? Yes, with that Cypher's Wrath draw, the Firebomb plus Cypher's Wrath plus the attack from the Salamander will be able to deal with it. It'll just be a question of if he can deal with all the other threats coming forwards from there on. I think we're going to see a Verdurn Force next turn. And that will be enough to seal out the game, I think. Oh, okay, my mistake. With this, with collecting that Faeria first, he actually had enough for the Bomb Slinger. And this Bomb Slinger will be able to hold off the Verdurn Force. Wow. I hope we don't come onto another situation where Mazine just can't close out the game. That would really
There's
be tragic.
2 health left.
And he actually
I don't know what to
has
say,
to
man.
return here. So I think he was looking for a Freedom Fighter, just trying to end the game, and that feels a little bit premature to me. He could have just played down the Verdurn Force.
Was he
and
really
started
hoping for a
fighting.
top deck?
I think so. I mean, he's in a good position right now either way, but he's really giving Callum a little bit of extra time by using these draws instead of gaining Faeria or something and getting these huge cards that he already has out of his hand.
I mean, Verdurian Force, dude. It's a 7/7. Just start dropping big shit. Oh well, there's the Freedom Fighter.
And there's the
But
fighter.
still, it doesn't reach
A
now.
little bit too late right now. So he has the option of moving up with the Living Willow and starting to build prairies in from the other side. I'm guessing it'll be blocked off almost immediately, but at the same time he'll be able to use the Verdurn Force and get that down and start applying some pressure too.
As you know, the only thing he needs to do is make sure he has a free land 1 square away from his orb, and he has lethal in hand.
Right. Now, if he plays a Verdurn Force, it probably forces the Bomb Slinger off of that forest to help deal with it, and that is what's going to come down here. So I think a Grimguard or something is what needs to be drawn in order to deal with this. But instead, we're probably going to see something like Gardon, and I think Callum will probably take the game from that. Or sorry, Amazing will take the game from that.
Pharaoh in Twitch chat is so digging the tower.
Yeah. loving the towers. I'm
I
a
love
big
the
fan of
fact we're
towers. And
giving
Captain
this
Peanuts, too.
this derelict tower some publicity. This might just freshen up the meta a bit after this. Hopefully, I mean, one person, like some people of this 186 viewers will be like, you know what? I'm not gonna play that. That's the only thing here that's gonna not affect the meta so much, is that none of these deck lists are publicly available. So unless the players themselves share them after the tournament, we're not gonna see this huge influx of like tournament winning decks all of a sudden, right? But I do this red deck that Callum is running. I want to play that.
I can
Like,
probably get you a list. I think we've seen enough of this deck
yeah.
that you can probably assemble most of it. But Gardon is going to come down here. And that should be game in favor of Mazine.
Wait,
Mazine, Mazine? I'm not exactly sure.
Mazine? How is this? Wait, in favor of Mazine because Skaruden came down?
Yes,
Oh,
because he doesn't have any way to... Yeah.
Because he left that.
Yep. All right,
Freedom! Oh, all right, 1-1, guys. 1-1.
Oh, man. All right, 1-1.
Don't-
Those players take a deep breath
Callum, you don't leave that space.
here. I don't know if he had much of a better option there.
Nah,
He was
no. Messine would have just removed it manually by Verdun first.
okay,
This is great.
so
This is great.
this is
I'm,
game
not,
3.
I'm not even swapping overlays between this. I don't care. Okay, I am. Hey, here we are. Woo! Waiting for the environment. Oh God. Yes. I think we're peaking it. I have not kept an eye on the viewer numbers so much, but I definitely feel like there's a peak at this match. Well deserved though. Oh, can't wait. Somebody's thinking about what to pick.
I think both players might be thinking pretty hard.
The pressure now, though, like, there's one game left. Someone is going to the playoff. And I don't know what happens with the others. Honestly, we gotta have to look at that. But I'm afraid whoever loses is out of the top 4.
I think that's going to be pretty likely here because of that intentional draw. Again, we'll get more into that after this round.
Yup.
Okay, so let's see what these hands are. Mazine is keeping this mono green deck.
And
Ooh, switching to a green
red green. Interesting.
Usually red isn't the color that you want against green, and I know this might not be the best example from the last game and everything.
Well, we've only seen the Blood Obelisk so far. Oh God, was he really hoping Messine would change?
I'm honestly not sure, but he has things like Deepwood Grizzly here. These are cards you don't normally see. I almost wonder if this is a 3-color deck.
Oh, that would be the day.
This Living Willow, this Deepwood Grizzly, those are the sort of cards you see in a Gabriel Enchantress deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be really interested to see if that's what's going on, or if he's
Good.
just planning on using things like Cobalt Barracks instead to buff their attack and make them into some really respectable threats.
Well, what was Callum so much hoping that Messine would change to?
I honestly don't know.
Well, of course we don't know, but like, what's the theory here?
I think after that last match, how close the first one was and how not close the second one was, I don't think you can really expect Mazine to switch decks there. So I think Callum, if he thinks he's at a disadvantage in that matchup, had to make a change.
And Messine
So
might
that's
feel
the case, I
very
think it's a
confident
good
in his green. Just imagine if it's this deck, the green one, that's been undefeated so far. I mean, and now lost against Callum. Then, of course, you're gonna stick with it.
Now, Mazine obviously knows that this is a different deck now. Starting with Iron for Grizzly is something that mono red deck doesn't usually do very
well,
often.
now he knows. I was gonna say he doesn't know there's red. And there we go.
So I'm interested to see what he'll be playing here. He has the option of Freedom Fighter and Elderwood Embrace, which will trade evenly. No, not quite evenly for this Iron for Grizzly. But with his Ground Shaker, he'll be able to finish it off. So an interesting turn from Mazine here. I'm not sure what I would do, to be honest. Oh, but I guess the Verdurn Force does make sense. Wow, wait, Shaden Vampire?
Yellow? What the fuck? I don't even know how to react to this.
So I talked about we have seen 2 colors. Now we see the third, and I've talked about a 4th color.
This is the first
four-color
tricolor deck we've seen. Oh, 4?
Could be.
Stop, dude.
I don't think it's implausible. I think it would make a lot of sense if this was a 4-color deck.
We need Mythbusters in this shit.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. So yellow. What is Mazine thinking here? He's like, what the bloody hell am I seeing? A
I
desert?
don't remember the last time I played against a true 4-color deck.
In the end of a Swiss qualifier tournament. I don't like. This is so high. This is so far into this. Like, I don't know, man. I hope Callum does an amazing thing here, but whew, there's two big creatures right there.
Right, and here I think his best play is probably Living Willow plus Tiki Caretaker. That actually deals with both of these creatures on board. Obviously, if a buff comes down, he'll need to figure out something else still. But Mazine doesn't have that many resources right now. Oh, wow. And he's actually not playing anything this turn.
What do you think?
Is that right? Well, he doesn't have the lands to play anything.
Wait,
by playing
why
double
did he
prairie
do
there,
prairies?
Oh, I'm really not sure about that double prairie play.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that was
I guess.
the play.
I guess he
can
wants to
analyze it.
limit Mazine's ability to put down offensive lands, I guess. But, that's 7 damage, though.
Here, it looks like we're going to see a Shaitan Vampire, but okay, this Elderwood Embrace kind of destroys that play a little bit too, though. Defender of the Homeland. Not quite what he's looking for, I don't think. So he can play one color of cards this turn. So Living Willow plus Tiki Caretaker is still a good play here. I think that's still the play you have to make. If he plays a forest to the left of his god, it prevents creatures from, or it prevents lands from expanding too much. So that seems like the way to go. But honestly, this is a deck I'm not familiar with at all. This could be
who's in Twitch chat right now? Who plays this deck? Right, come on, like who plays green, red, yellow? Come on, show yourself.
I think Sweetie plays a 4-color deck. So if this is 4-color, then that might be someone who can speak up.
Do you think Sweetie played it in this tournament?
I don't know. I know he had a lot of long games, and 4-color decks tend to lend towards some very long games.
Okay. Because I question, like, once you get into 3 and even, I mean, or more colors in a game like Faeria, the consistency falls off.
I think so too. Cards like Cartographer, though, are extremely strong. I've seen Cartographer in actually a couple 2-color decks too, just because of the amount of lands they put out.
I faced that in ranked the other day by a rank 5 guy who defeated me at the very last turn. Okay.
I'll take a Caretaker buffing the creature to a 5/7.
But he was playing 2 colors, and he had Cartographer just for the Day of Dragon. That was the only reason he had it.
So I really don't like this play either. It seems like the pressure might have finally gotten to Callum here.
So well, he was running out of time, right? He got really stressed there, I think.
Right. I think this 7/6 is probably going to trade into the 5/7.
And then another 7 to face, right?
Yeah. Mazine has 2 forests right now. He's probably going to try to build up that forest count a little bit so we can start getting down this Therian Golem.
He can do 10 damage this turn.
Yes, with the Freedom Fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's going to hold off on that by the look of it. He's going to draw cards. So this is basically going to be stranding the Therian Golem in his hand. He's going to choose to keep the creature a lot more healthy here. Instead of having 2 7-power creatures. That plays around things like a Flame Burst and Shaitan Vampire pretty nicely, so I don't mind that play.
He's thinking about famine.
It's definitely something you can consider.
But still.
It looks like he's playing the board there to be able to start getting in around the left side with his lands. But I'm not sure about that one either. I guess it gets to face in the same number of turns, so it shouldn't matter too much. And this does play around Shaitan Vampire. Okay, so I actually do like this play with the board. At the same time, Shaitan Vampire is not what you're worried about at all.
Last Nightmare's so far away as well.
You have 2 turns, and that's 1 turn too many.
It's Living Willow, basically. That's the only option he has.
Yeah, but to make the Living Willow worthwhile, you need to play a forest first, and that doesn't really help him win the game at all either. But I think
I think he lost. I think he might even surrender. Like he's thinking hard, but I think we might get an early surrender from Callum actually.
Yeah, but I don't think you can surrender quite yet. I think if you have any play this late in the tournament, you need to go for it.
All right, so he's going for it.
All right, so.
But just like you said, he
looks like
had to place forest, and he's lacking the other land he needs. I mean, he might top deck something, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is looking really, really rough for Callum now. What can he do to win this game? Is there anything he could really break out here?
There's no who? Callum?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't see anything. He's dead.
If Soul Pact into Azrai doesn't do it,
there's so little things that isn't green that Callum can pull that will make a difference, I think. And you know, what I say isn't
but he
green.
found the play. This will actually do it.
Who found the play?
This is lethal. Well done.
Very
complex
oh
play.
God! I was so well. I guess I called it though. I called it, but I didn't see lethal. I mean, shit. Oh God.
Wow.
Well,
Mazine, congratulations. You are, well, at least the first one that we know of anyway, that has gone 6-0 in this tournament. There might be other ones too. We had some pretty long games. Wow. Well done.
Jim says that deck lists will go public next week. By the way.
Okay.
So they're lurking and listening to what we're saying, because we were saying that's like we talked about that earlier.
We were
wow.
Watch devs. I guess they weren't lying.
The devs are watching. Guys, there's booster packs there's like 5 or 6 booster packs that I'm gonna give away soon-ish here on Twitch. You'll react in chat by you hear this, but you know, I just want to make sure that, hey, follow the channel here on Metagaming TV. We're not done here. We're gonna talk a little bit about the qualifier here and who's qualified and what that intentional draw. 2 players agreed to just draw their games as a result to this round, and we'll see what we'll discuss that, and you guys, please tell us, what do you guys think about that? Is it fair? The rules actually allow that in this game. Apparently, in Magic the Gathering, it's a thing. We'll talk about that. Yeah, please follow Metagaming TV here. You know, show your support. You know, if you really want to, there's the sub and donation button. You know, just, you know, we're here. We're a community. We're doing all we can. Crow has been an amazing commentator and an analytic partner here yesterday and today. And if you have your channel link, copy paste, put that in Twitch chat too.
Sure, I can do that.
So
yeah, twitch.tv/crow_77.
So do follow him as well. Just do it.
I'll actually wait about 10 minutes to do that, just so.
Yeah, you do that. You do that. Exactly. They're like, what? Why did he just post this? All right, yeah, do that. Okay, so let's see. Did we have the longest running game here? Let's see.
I don't think so, actually. It looks like there's still Nomodogan plus
They haven't even reported the Mazine result yet, actually. Let's see.
Yeah,
and after starting Garma.
I think Mazine probably just got a little bit ecstatic about this, because, you know, he gets to play in a $5,000 tournament. I know I'd be happy if I were him.